Welcome into Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Jeffrey Cooperstein. On today's show, we are coming at you with a preview of Mavericks Kings in the 2025 NBA play-in. The Mavericks take on the Kings in Sacramento on Wednesday evening. That's going to be a 9 p.m. Central tip-off, and we'll, of course, be going live for that game. So hit that subscribe button and join us. The Mavericks finished the regular season with a 39-43 record. The Kings finished one better with a 40-42 record. But the Kings have had the Mavericks number all season long, and we will get into all of the details here in just a few moments. But to start off today's show, I do want to ask you guys who you got in this game. If you think the Mavs are going to win, type DAL for the Mavs. Or if you think the Kings are going to win, type SAC for Sacramento. And remember, if the Mavericks win this game, they then have to go on the road again to beat either the Warriors or whoever else they're playing. I don't even remember at this point, but who cares? But the Mavericks have to win 2 games to get themselves in the NBA playoffs. Well, let me know if you think they're going to win this one. Here are the results this season from the 3 games that the Mavericks and the Kings have played. They've lost all 3 games, the closest one being February 10th, the week after the Luka trade, where the Mavs lost by 129 to 128. But other than that, the Kings have pretty much had the Mavericks number, and it's not just this season that's been the case. Over the last few seasons, the Kings have really played the Mavericks really well. I remember a couple of games like right after the Kyrie Irving trade where the Kings beat the Mavs when the Mavs needed to win to try to improve their playoff seeding. They have just been a bogey team for the Mavericks, so to speak, and they do have a really talented team. Now, down the stretch, the Kings really struggled, and they did not look like a team that was going to be a force in the NBA postseason. But when you look at some of their key players they absolutely can present problems for the Mavericks. Zach LaVine, who the Kings traded for at the deadline, is the problem. DeMar DeRozan gave the Mavericks 40 earlier this year, including a buzzer beater in that 129-128 game. Malik Monk is a really good 6-man for the Kings. Keegan Murray also starting in their front court, and alongside Domantas Sabonis, who, aside from averaging 19 points a game, also is a fantastic rebounder. And then you have the likes of Keon Ellis, who is actually in their starting lineup, but I put him on the bench because he's not one of the 5 key players I see there. Trey Lyles, a solid rotational big man. Jonas Valanciunas, who you guys know very well on this channel, as I've talked about him at length. And then Kevin Huerter has a propensity to light it up in a hurry as well. So the Kings certainly have some players that can give the Mavericks problems, and these are the 9 guys that you'll likely see on the court. Maybe they shrink their rotation down to 8, but if they play 9, these are the guys you will see. But the one guy that I really want to focus on is Domantas Sabonis, and he is an absolute handful to deal with. Led the league in rebounding last year, is at or near the top of the league this year in rebounding as well. And Anthony Davis is really going to have to show up against Domantas Sabonis in order for the Mavericks to win this game. Davis versus Sabonis is the matchup that will make or break this game. If AD plays like he did against the Lakers a week ago, the Mavericks will not win this game. If AD plays like he did in the first 2.5 quarters against the Rockets when he made his Mavericks debut, the Mavs have a hell of a chance to win this game and move on in the play-in. This is absolutely the matchup that will make or break the game for the Mavericks and will determine if they play on or if their season ends or not. We will give you some keys to victory here coming up in just a moment, but I do need to tell you guys about our sponsor of today's show, a newish sponsor on today's show, which is Game Time. Use the promo code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. The 2025 NBA playoffs are here. I remember some great memories last season of the Mavericks run, going to the Western Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. And of course, I used our friends over at Game Time. And one thing I really like about Game Time is their all-in pricing option. And toggling this feature shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Plus, they offer the Game Time guarantee. If you find picks in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. The Mavs maybe are going to make the first round of the postseason, but you can find other postseason games. You can find Texas Rangers games. The Stars will be in the playoffs. You can find Stars tickets here on Game Time as well. So go ahead, use our friends at Game Time and take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS in all caps for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. First key to victory, and I kind of talked about it earlier before we talked about Game Time, is AD has to show up. This will be AD's first signature game as a Dallas Maverick, and I think he's going to play pretty well. In the 9 games he played in the regular season with the Mavericks, the stats look pretty good. 20 points on the dot, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, which is definitely boosted by that almost quadruple double he had the other night. Over 2 blocks a game, 46% from the field, and 23% from 3. So the counting numbers do look good for Anthony Davis, but outside of that Rockets game, I haven't really seen a wow, AD is here moment. I need one of those moments from Anthony Davis against the Kings. Show us why we should have faith in you. Show us why you have the torch of this franchise on your back, because that's kind of what the Mavericks are banking on right now, is Anthony Davis carrying the franchise into this new era. So show us Mavericks fans why we should have faith in you, Anthony Davis. Come out strong, show up and show out, and lead the Mavs to victory here in Sacramento. I would also like a Klay Thompson appearance against the Sacramento Kings. Klay had a pretty good season, all things considered, for the Mavs, and his veteran presence is going to be needed desperately against this Kings team. When you're in games like this where it's win or go home, you want to rely on the guys that have been there before. So I'm going to rely on Anthony Davis. I'm going to rely on Klay Thompson. I'm going to rely on the likes of Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, who the Mavericks need an impact from. In the last high-leverage game the Mavericks played, which was against the Lakers, those guys really did not show up. Daniel Gafford was okay. He had 10 points and 6 boards in just 15 minutes of time. But with the front court of Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis, the Mavericks are going to need Lively, Gafford, and Anthony Davis to impose their will. And we need those guys specifically to play with force. I actually think AD is going to have a pretty good game, but I want to see Lively and Gafford down low. I want to see them getting physical with Sabonis and with Murray. If Valanciunas is in there, I want to see them boxing out and getting rebounds over Valanciunas, who is a physical guy of his own. I really want to see those guys have an impact, because the Mavericks are now a team that relies on their front court to win basketball games. So if you're going to rely on your front court, let's see it here in the play-in, and hopefully Gafford and Lively can show up big in this game. Another key that the Mavericks need to have here is they need to limit the turnovers. There are some games where the Mavericks will have 4 or 5 turnovers in a row on consecutive possessions, and that's just not going to cut it against the Sacramento team, who is a pretty good fast break team when they can run out with the likes of Keon Ellis and Kevin Huerter when he's out there, Malik Monk as well. Those guys are players who thrive off of transition. So the Mavericks, Spencer Dinwiddie specifically, because he's going to be running the offense, need to limit the turnovers. I would like to see less than 10 turnovers. Maybe that's unrealistic, but I would like to see them really take care of the ball in this game. And I think if they do that and they're able to maximize their possessions, they have a chance at winning this ball game. And that kind of goes hand in hand with executing late game. Sometimes the Mavericks in late game scenarios are just awful. And that's down to not only Jason Kidd, that's down to the players, that's down to Anthony Davis execution, it's down to overall execution. The Mavericks need to execute late game if it's 5 points or less in 5 minutes in clutch time. And look, if they do that, they do have a good chance to win this game. All in all, I think this is a winnable game for the Mavericks, and I think their season could continue, but I don't think it's going to. I hope I'm wrong, but I do think the season is over on Wednesday night in Sacramento. I'd really like the Mavericks to win this game and try to get a little bit of momentum going into a potential win and get in the playoff game on Friday. I just don't see it happening. I think Domantas Sabonis is going to be too much for this Mavericks team, and their season is going to end on Wednesday night in Sacramento. Let me know what you guys think down below. What is the biggest key to victory versus the Sacramento Kings? Do you think it's Anthony Davis? Do you think it's Spencer Dinwiddie? Is it something I haven't mentioned yet? Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think, and also, again, give me your prediction for the game down below. Of course, we will be live for the game on Wednesday. We had a great time doing watch parties throughout the course of the season, and now we're getting into the business end of it. So hit that subscribe button. It's youtube.com/MavsTV. We'll have you covered with all of the latest Mavericks news and rumors leading up to the game. And if the Mavericks season does end on Wednesday, our coverage does not stop here. We will have comprehensive off-season coverage right here on the channel. So stay locked in, and we'll see you soon here on the channel.